Hi everyone, this is Gail Scott here, and thank you for being here. Today's channeling comes to you as part one of two parts. This is a channeling that came through regarding the monetary system that we have on planet Earth. And the channeling came through from the collective, the Multiverse, and they are a galactic council of intelligences that have been coming through for a while now. And they're coming through specifically to help us as humanity going through this huge transitionary period that we find ourselves in on planet Earth. And for those of you who are aware of the dimensional changes that are coming, you'll remember from previous videos that they have told us about the 3D, 4D, 5D transition. And that is what is happening right now on our planet. So if that's something that you are not familiar with, please go back to one of my other videos that explains that very clearly, 3D, 4D, 5D. So here we are. Now they've actually come forward and said to me, you may be wondering, why would a galactic council come forward through someone like me to bring messages to humanity? And they're acknowledging that it is a little bit far-fetched for us as human beings to kind of believe that there are other energies out there that can communicate with us in this way. And if you take a look at my channel, you'll see that I have lots of different collectives actually that have come through over the last 3 years to really bring us messages of hope, covering topics from fear to love, to health, and now to money. And so they also have said to me that although we're not aware of it, they have actually been with us for quite a long time. And so they're very familiar with us, although we are kind of just getting to be familiar with them. So they've said, so the topic today is money. And as I mentioned, this is part one of two parts. And so I hope that you will take the time to listen to both of these messages because they're very hopeful, and they really do bring forward some quite new and emerging information that I think is very useful for us to help us to understand what's happening right now on the planet. So the topic of money, they call it our current barter system. They say it has served you well, but it is now an archaic and rudimentary way for you to exchange goods and services with one another. It does not serve you as a planet any longer when you consider the idea that you are a global family and your marketplace is simply one, not many. And so what they're bringing to our attention here is that the financial system that we have been using on planet Earth has served its time. And they'll explain a little bit more later in terms of what that means, but they're bringing forward the idea that something new is coming for us, specifically because we are one unit, we are one family, we are one marketplace on this one planet. So they say what you mean by that is even though you are all delineated by the boundaries of where you exist, where you live, where you work, where you play, these boundaries are man-made, and they've been produced as a result of the third dimensional vibration. And so this third dimensional vibration is one of matter, it's one of fear, it's a very heavy density. And so we have been living under this kind of regime where we're all separate. We're all, even though we are all unique, we've been segregated into these boundaries, and that has included our financial system. So they say, moving forward, humanity will begin to realize that you are all one, coexisting, and that these boundaries are no longer required. And so what I'm getting from this is that something's going to be coming forward that is actually going to allow us to be far more universal. versus all of the different currencies that we operate in, all of the different ways that we structure our barter system on planet Earth. So they acknowledge, yes, you all have differences, for you all come from different parts of the planet, but your monetary system no longer requires you to be so segregated and separated, and you will be relieved of that confusion. For that experience has created more separation than is necessary as you move forward. So with this new picture of money, and I'm not even very sure if it is actually going to be the word money. They haven't actually told us that, but they're really helping us to understand that we can no longer barter in such an individualistic way, that that's not going to serve us moving forward, especially as we move forward into this higher vibrational dimension. The marketplace is huge. I'm calling this our unity marketplace. They're saying there is much to offer for each individual person, and each individual person has much to offer the marketplace. So this is not about multiple marketplaces and we're all existing, separately. It's that there's a synergy here between the fact that we are individuals within a unit, this one cohesive unit of family as a global system, but that each of us individually has something to offer this entire unit of marketplace. So that's a very exciting shift in terms of consciousness, and really beginning to understand that money is not the measurement tool anymore of how we contribute to this global marketplace. They say it would be unreasonable within the fifth dimension to continue this kind of separation. And it is almost as if one must come apart in order for something new to be created. And you do not have to be concerned that there shall be a major transition as you go through this change, for that is not necessary. So they're saying here that, something has to break down in order for it to break through. And we have to take it apart, not to rebuild it in the same way, but because I believe we're going to be rebuilding, or we're going to be building it in a whole new way. So they say, for many of you, you do not understand, nor have any capacity to understand what may be coming down the pipeline, but you don't have to. So at this point, they're telling us we don't need to know what's coming. They say the vibrational shift that will be happening moving forward will create a fallout. And the fallout will allow you to change your marketplace in order to install, integrate, introduce a new way of dealing with bartering. So this fallout, this breakdown, has to happen in order for us to change the way our marketplace works. And when that happens, we'll then be able to create and introduce this new way of dealing with the goods and services that we want to be able to exchange with one another. They say, yes, your digital currency is one way, but it shall not be the only way, for the digital currency is in and of itself a similar product to the one we're currently using. It will shift and change, and as it does, we'll begin to understand the value in a different way of what we've been experiencing so far within this current marketplace. So what they're saying here is that digital currency, sure, it's one way of us being able to barter and contribute to the marketplace. But what they're really suggesting here is that it's going to be the value of what we're contributing to the marketplace that is actually going to change and create the new way that we're going to exchange with one another. So they say the commodities on your planet, including gold and silver, will be used as part of this transition, but they'll not be the only things used. A new, entirely new system will be being introduced to help us to move through this. And for many of us, we would want to know more information. They're saying, you know, you would be requesting information to help you understand better. But they say, we're not willing to bring you all the fine details, because this would give you a one-upmanship, anyone who's hearing this message. And that's not the evolutionary stage where we're at with this transition when it comes to money on the planet. So they're telling us, yes, change is coming. Yes, it's going to be because we are a global marketplace and our boundaries and our barriers are going to change. Yes, it's going to be co-created and introduced in a new way, but they're not going to give us the ABCs of it. And that is because they don't want us to feel that one person knows more than another, basically. We're still in a very evolutionary phase of this new bartering money financial system that's going to come into play on planet Earth. They do understand about some of the difficulties that we as humans will ask ourselves because we don't understand this. They're saying, yes, you might think to yourself, how am I going to cope? How am I going to deal with this? But what they're saying is, don't worry about that. That would be like putting the cart before the horse. We're not there yet. They're saying new ideas will be forthcoming and new structures will be put in place to assist, because it's such an interesting time for us here on planet Earth, that because there are many systems that are being dismantled right now in order to create new things. And we can see that that is happening. Things are falling apart. And as they've mentioned, that fallout, that falling apart has to happen. And they do understand that we will feel a lot of unrest, a lot of discomfort and not knowing, because, you know, we as human beings, we like to know what's going on. We like to be in control. It helps us to feel secure. But they're not willing to tell us that. They're asking us to instead let go of the fear of trying to control the outcome. Because at this point in the game, we don't know how we're going to be playing moving forward. And that's because parts of the game haven't been revealed to us yet. So these energies, these intelligences that are talking through me, they have a very clear picture on what is going to transpire here. And there is an element of humanity having to actually sit down and wait for it to be shown to us, to be revealed in a sense, so that those who are going to be bringing this forward are going to be given the information. And I imagine it's going to come intuitively and in a sense of, you know, experimentation, exploration, so that they can bring forward these ideas so that we can play the game of life. We can, in a sense, be the ones who are experimenting with this and beginning to co-create something brand new for us in this new dimension that we're moving into. So in terms of next steps, they say, just keep following your intuition and continue to manage the current monetary system. There's nothing really for us to do. That all will be revealed over time, and that the indecencies that have been occurring on our planet in terms of this monetary system will be being stopped, removed, and changed. And so that is to give you some hope that what has not worked in the past is not going to continue. And so they say, yes, it is indeed an unsettling time for you as a human race, because you don't know what's coming, but this is very deliberate, because we're here to play the game of life. I've explained this in one of my earlier videos, where they talk about the game of life and what it's like to be on the court playing the game of life, and that is really what we're here to do. We're here to play. We're here to experience the contrast, to understand that there are things that are, you know, duality is present in our lives. And so we get to enjoy the experience of that, the dichotomy, I suppose, of being human. And that, you know, they want us to live in the moment. They want us to be in the now. And that this really is our ultimate challenge, to live in the moment. And and not to always know what's coming. Because they're saying if you did know what was coming, you would no longer be in the moment. You'd be in the future that isn't even here yet, because we need to co-create our future. So they're not going to tell us what's happening. One, because we have free will. We get to decide what that's going to look like. We get to tap into our intuition, and we get to take action based on how we're being guided intuitively in terms of what to do next and what to introduce and what to take apart. And so staying in the now is our challenge, but it's what we need to be doing. And that is more and more important as we see that time seems to be moving faster and faster. And if you're not in the present moment and you're not enjoying the now, then you're going to miss it. And that's the last thing that you want to be doing as a human being. You want to be present to the life that you're living right now. So they're saying, relax, allow, enjoy, be, and have no fear about what is coming, because it will all work out perfectly in a way that will appear magic, but in the end, you'll see is very strategic. So it is challenging for us to move through these times and these changes, but if we can just stay in the moment, and if we can just enjoy the experience, we'll find it much easier to transition through this. And they're also stating that we are here not to experience barter, and to create financial wealth. That's not why we exist as human beings on the planet, but we're here to have a co-creative experience with each other, and really to experience the joy of being human and the joy of being human with each other. That's actually what we're here for. And that's far more important than any monetary system that's been in place for eons. And they're also saying that this monetary system that has been created has actually taken us away from that place of being ourselves, of feeling joyful, and of being in the moment, co-creating with one another. But that this is going to come back to us. It's returning to us. But it's going to come at a very different level because of this 5D new vibration that is being brought to planet Earth. And again, if you're not sure about what 5D is, that is a place of harmony. That is a place of unity. It's a place of heart-centered love energy, where we do see our neighbors as equal, and we appreciate everything that each person brings to contribute to the whole, and that we see ourselves as parts of that whole, and we are all one, we're all together. So it's going to be a new vibration, and they're introducing us to a new view of this new vibration, and they're asking us not be concerned about what or how it's going to look like, because this new vibrational level of consciousness, our awareness is going to be very different, and that's going to give us insight into things that we've never seen before, and the ability to experience changes that we haven't had on the planet before. And that the most important thing that we can do as we go through these changes is to stay centered in our hearts, because the heart-centered energy that is coming onto planet Earth is this new barter system that we're going to have moving forward. And that if we can begin to really operate from that heart-centered place, that's all the information that we need. We will be given everything that we need in order to move forward from this space, and we'll understand the nature of all that's being offered to us as we continue to live on Mother Earth and move into an energy that is more harmonious, more co-creative, and happier than we have ever had before, and that this is the happiness that we seek. And so this is part one of a two-part channeling video around money from the multiverse. And so just be aware that this, if you only watch this one, there's changes coming, and you don't have to worry about it. Just stay in your heart, follow your intuition, and understand that we're going to be guided, and we're going to be given everything that we need in order to transition into this new place. So if you've enjoyed this video, I encourage you to please share it with others. Please like and subscribe and follow me on my website, BOSE International. All the links are below here. And I look forward to connecting with you with part 2. Thank you for listening.